I keep saying that I'm going to do an update video on this 20-gallon Planet Aquarium that has my female betta Mary in it, but I keep not doing that video. So this is that video. It's well overdue. I've been needing to do it for a while, so here it is. My last dedicated video on this tank was several months ago, and that was when I put Mary in this tank. I haven't actually done an update on this tank since then, other than, you know, just inserting this tank into other videos for a couple of minutes and saying Mary's doing great. So we're gonna go through and I'm gonna show you the current state of the tank and kind of what's changed, and we might do a little maintenance on it as well. I just cleaned the front glass, but we might do a water change because that kind of clouded up the water a little bit. First of all, Mary is still doing wonderful in this tank. Her fins are still wonderful, no nips or anything like that, and she hasn't been very aggressive towards pretty much any of the fish in here. She does like to steal food from the bottom dwellers. We'll get to that in a bit. But as far as the rasborehettes go, which here they are right here, she's been doing really well with them. I still have all 6 of my rasborehettes. They pretty much stay in the top third of the tank. Even during feeding time, if the food starts to fall down below a certain level, they just won't go for it. But Mary's very good at cleaning up all that stuff that gets down below, as are the snails. As far as the snails go, I do still have ram's horn snails in here. Got a bunch of those. As far as the mystery snails go, I had 3 of them when I started this tank out. Now I only have 1. Right now he's hiding inside his shell, but he is still doing very well. I just posted an Instagram video of him a couple of days ago where he was munching on an algae wafer. And actually, this right here is what's left of that algae wafer. Still a little bit of debris from it in the tank. Sometimes when I feed the snail, I have to put Mary in a cup or in a breeder box to keep her from harassing the snail and stealing all of the snail's food. Like I mentioned, I did start out with 3 snails. 2 of them were this color, and 1 of them had a white shell and a dark blue foot. The other dark one like this was the first one to go. And I put the shell from it in my shell dweller tank. It's still in there. And then the second one to passed a few months later. I had it for maybe a month and a half, 2 months, and it passed. I don't know what happened. But this guy here, this guy has been going strong for quite some time, and he's doing really well. I guess right now he's sleeping. Also, I did have a super red bristlenose pleco in this tank originally, and Mary harassed him. She did not like him. They got along fine for the most part, except for when there was food involved. Anytime I would feed the bristlenose pleco, Mary would harass him, and she actually ended up nipping at his fins. And his fins got infected, and he sadly didn't make it. I did quarantine him, the first sign of fin damage that I saw, but it was too late, and so he sadly didn't make it. But out of everyone that's left here, Mary, the rasboras, and the single mystery snail, and of course the ram's horn snails, everyone's doing really well. I think I have a good balance of livestock in this tank. I don't plan on really adding anyone else to this tank. This tank is understocked livestock-wise, and I think that that's doing a lot to help the water quality. If I do add anything else, it'll probably just be more rasboras to increase the size of their school. Right now I only have 6 of them, and that is kind of the bare minimum number for schooling fish, and so I would like to get more so they can exhibit more natural schooling behaviors. Regarding the plants, some are doing really well, some are not. The dwarf hairgrass that I used to have in here, of course, didn't make it. It was drowned out by algae. I talked about that in a previous video in which I planted these Amazon swords, as well as this Anubias right here, which I believe is Anubias nana. And this Anubias nana is doing really, really well. There's been no die-off at all. It has some nice deep green coloration. There's no brown leaves, nothing like that. And it has been several months, and it has just continued to thrive. Now, the Amazon swords, those aren't doing as well. I have trimmed a bunch of the dead plant matter off, but it looks like I'm due to do that again. If we look right there, I've got pretty dead leaf there. I've got dead leaf on this one. I've got a dead leaf over here on this one. And I've got a lot of snail damage as well. The Java fern has done exceptionally well. I used some like twisty bread tie and just kind of mounted this Java fern onto this driftwood here, and it has continued to thrive this entire time. I've even kind of got like a new little sprout or a new plantlet coming off the top there, and I've got another one coming off the side here. And so I've got all kinds of new growth coming off of that Java fern, and it is just doing so well. I am really pleased with how the Java fern is doing. In the back, this tall grass plant, I've got one there, and I don't know if you can really see it, but I've got another one back there by the filter intake. Those are doing okay. I've had a lot of die-off with those, but it has been a really slow die-off, so I don't think that they're doing poorly per se, but they could probably be doing better. Again, it's a plant I don't know a whole lot about, so I took a gamble by getting it, and it hasn't really worked out so well for me. The baffled filter has been doing really well. If you look, you can see some bacteria and some algae grows on the filter baffle. So I do have to clean that. Every time I do a water change, I just kind of scrape it off and suck up the debris that it puts off when I do that. But because there's not a lot of water movement, I don't know if you can see, but the top of the water gets very oily. Because of that, when I do water changes, I generally do very large water changes. And another thing that I want to touch base on is somebody tried to tell me that Mary here was a male. And I'm sorry, but see that egg spot right there? Mary is a female. She is a veil-tail betta, and veil-tails have really long tails. Even the females do. The male veil-tail bettas have even longer fins than the females do. But as you can tell, even the females have really long fins as compared to something like a female half moon or a plecos. I am certain that Mary is a female, so before anyone else tries to come at me in the comments saying,
Mary is a male, right?
No, she's not. I've had her for well over a year now. I'm very familiar with her anatomy as well as her temperament. She is indeed a female. So like I said, I am going to do a water change because if you look around, I've got a little bit of debris on the bottom that I want to clean up. A lot of brown stuff hanging out back there that needs to be cleaned up. If I had more plants, that would actually not be so bad. And I keep meaning to get more plants, and I just haven't in a long time. And also, I want to show you down here. You see all that? That is actually the root tabs that I had originally put down when I had dwarf hairgrass in this tank. They have kind of dissolved into the gravel, and that's what they look like when they do that. And so I've been kind of sucking up what I can from that every time I do a water change, but because I've got this layer of rocks on top of the gravel, I can't really get down in there, so I just kind of do the best I can. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's do a quick water change, and let's trim off a little bit of the dead plant matter, and we'll fill it back up and we'll see how it looks. Okay, it is literally right after the water change, and although I sucked up a lot of debris got stirred around. As you can see, it's all floating around in the tank there. But my mystery snail is crawling around again. Looks like doing that water change woke him up. The fish are swimming around, doing okay. Mary is hanging out by the filter. So we'll give this a few minutes, maybe an hour, to let the water settle, and we'll be back. Okay, it's been about a half hour since the water change, and I just want to give you guys an update. Everybody's doing well. The mystery snail has been crawling around. I wish I would have caught this on video, but he actually climbed all the way up the filter, stayed up there for a minute, and then jumped back down. The water has cleared up quite a bit. It's still got some more clearing up to do, and it will. The fish are doing really well. The rasboras are swimming around like normal. Mary is swimming around like normal. I did go ahead and feed the fish, and they all ate, and that's what Mary is doing right now, is she's looking for little pieces that have fallen and didn't get eaten. Oh, here we go. Here's my mystery snail crawling around. I love watching that guy. Bonus gecko. Ghost is in the middle of shedding. Look at that, it's like he's wearing a hoodie. But there you go, guys. That's my update on my 20-gallon Planet Aquarium. I know it's long overdue. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave it a big thumbs up. If you made it this far into the video and you're not subscribed to me, you probably should be, so hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.